My friend Mike said to me, "What happened?" He asked not just with curiosity, but with concern. My friend Mike and I go back to 7th grade. We met and became best friends throughout junior high and high school and after high school. When Mike got married, I was his best man. When I got married, he was my best man. We were very, very close. But then he moved to Lake Havasu, and we didn't see each other as much. So for the last 20 years, it was just an occasional time we'd get together. So a few years ago, I saw him, and he said, "What happened?" Because he was thinking about this guy that he knew way back then, who was taking these deacon classes. He knew about that, but after years of these classes, he's going to be actually ordained a deacon. He's going to go through with it. He said, "What happened? Where did this change?" Now I think about that because of one of the lines in the gospel. A man sows seed, and then he rises and sleeps and rises and sleeps, and the seed sprouts, and he knows not how. Plants do that. They start as a seed and they grow, and we don't watch them. They just, over time, gradually change and become what they become. And we're kind of the same way. Over time, we gradually change and become what we become. A friend of mine, Alan, one time agreed to play guitar at a retreat to help out. He can play guitar, and he thought, I can do this. I will help out with the retreat. When the retreat was over, they were going to attend Mass, and he knew that. It's great. And they get here to Mass, and he finds out you and your little group are going to be the choir this day. And they're, what? No, we were just going to be playing at the retreat. We're not, no, you're the choir. And so Alex and Alan and Brian, there they were. They were the choir. The one little yes that they said led them to being the choir at Mass, which, by the way, you will now see them up here as our choir every so often, Alan and Alex, because of that one little yes, and it changed them. Now, I say that like it happened kind of quickly, and it takes a lot longer than that for a lot of us. Alan played guitar in a band at clubs for a long time, and he wasn't going to church. And then one day, he started to go to church. And going to church gradually over time, one day he said, "You know what, I'm going to go on this retreat." And then one day after that, he was asked to play, and he played, and that was the rest of the story. Little moments sometimes push us along. Little things happen. It moves us forward in our journey. And that's what it's about, our journey. Where are we on our journey? When we look back at our lives, how far have we come on our journey? How much further do we have to go? Where will we go? Because sometimes it's just these little yeses that you can't imagine what they could be. Like 29 years ago, a woman was sitting over here. Someone up here said, "We need confirmation facilitators." And she said, "Okay." So she shows up to the orientation and sits next to somebody else who did the same thing. He said, "Okay." And that was me that she sat next to, and she was my wife, soon to be. We met, my wife and I. Confirmation orientation. Both of us just saying yes to something. We're going to help out with confirmation. No idea we would meet a future spouse, future deacon, all this. No idea what those little yeses can sometimes do. So part of what I want to accomplish is to encourage us to be open to these little yeses, because we can't imagine what they might do for us on our journey. But the other thing is another line from the gospel which had to do with the mustard seed, because the mustard seed is this tiny little seed, and it can become this giant shrub tree. And we don't see it. We have no idea with ourselves of what it could turn into, these little ideas that we have. A few weeks ago, there was someone here, a couple of deacons actually, and they were here for a collection, a second collection for the Society for the Propagation of the Faith. 207 years ago, an 18-year-old French girl has an idea. How can she, a commoner, help support the people who are going out on the missions, preaching God's word to the third world countries like the USA? That's what we were. We were a third world country in 1817. And so she had this idea, you know what, who am I? I'm going to get 10 people, and each of them is going to contribute like a penny a week. But each of those 10 is going to get their own group of 10 to contribute a penny a week. And each of those 10 will get their own group of 10 to make a penny a week. And you see where that goes. This idea just reached out. People everywhere, pennies a week. And 207 years later, the Society for the Propagation of the Faith is supporting missionaries all around the world, thousands of them all around the world, who are giving not just testimony to God's word, but providing services, orphanages and hospitals and caring for people all around the world for her little mustard seed of an idea. I've said before that we're not all called to be priests. God calls very few to be priests. He called Andres Rivera, and he said yes. And 2 years later, he's affecting our lives, all of us. Already all of us have been touched by his ministry. In just 2 years, where's that going to go? His ministry. The man is a mustard seed. Already, he's sprouting. What will become of his ministry? It's going to be beautiful to see, to watch. The thing of it is, though, come to find out, mustard seeds, they can grow into these giant trees, but they don't all. There's different species of mustard seeds, and some of them grow into smaller or more manageable bushes, and that's true with us too. So we're all these mustard seeds, and we're all growing into something. And what that something is going to be is still to be seen. It's God's call, God's providence. It's not our decision. Our job is to just say an occasional yes, and to be open to see what he will do with us. Because we can't imagine what it might be. It's Father's Day, of course, and we have a job with our children who themselves could be little mustard seeds. And what we do as fathers can help shape these little children. Every single saint had a father, and some of those fathers contributed to who those saints became. Think about that as fathers, that we have the chance to help nurture our children, pour water on the little seeds and help them to become who knows what. So that's the point. The point is, we're all seeds, we're all growing, we're all on journeys. It's good to stop and reflect on how far we've come, to think about that. How far have we come? And then give praise to God for that. But be open to where he still may take us. Because we can't even imagine it. Where we might go, what we might become, what our children might become. But someday, because of those yeses, a lifetime friend might come up to you and say, "What happened?"